Hi guys, it's Emma, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to the chaos. This is where the music happens, but quite often that music comes in chaotic forms because I am a chaotic person, and today's chaotic video is no exception to the rule. I'm not actually going to be doing any music in today's video, but it is music related. I've been talking for ages about how I'm going to be upgrading my little home studio setup to make it more possible for me to do more advanced music stuff and work more in the industry in terms of the recording and producing and mixing side of things. I'm finally in a position where I've learned enough about mixing and sound engineering now that I feel like I do know some of what I'm doing. I can't really call myself a producer or a sound engineer yet, but I am a producer in the making. And I've been talking about how if I want to take those next steps, then I have to improve the space that I'm working in to make it actually usable for certain things that I want to be doing. And I know I've been saying that for ages, and I think I said last year that I was going to be making upgrades to this space to make that possible, and then I just didn't do them. But this year is the year for it. I have plans. Again, I've made actual plans that I've already started acting on as well, so I can say categorically these plans are being put into action because I already started the other day, because yesterday I took apart a desk in this room that I've been looking at for ages thinking, you're just in the way, you're not good storage, I'm not using you as a desk, you're just in the way, you need to go. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is I'm going to be making those upgrades, so I thought I would make a video this week before I really get started, because over the next month or so I'm going to be making a lot of changes to the space itself. So I wanted to make this video now to document what the space looks like so I can look back on it once I've made all the upgrades. And also as a way to sort of hold myself to actually doing the things I'm saying I'm going to do, because if I make a video about it and I state online that I'm doing it, then if I don't check back in at the end of the year with an update of here's what the space looks like now, then people can judge me. So yeah, this is what my setup currently looks like, and I thought I'd go through why I made certain decisions and what I'm actually going to be upgrading over the next few months. So my current setup looks like I do everything in this room at the moment, and you guys have seen this room in other videos, but I'll give you a bit of a panning shot of the room to get more of an exact vibe of what it looks like. And as you can see, there isn't any acoustic treatment currently in the room. What I do when I am trying to record things in here that I want to create a better space for, because obviously these walls and how big the space is and how big the window in the room is, I've closed the curtains so you can't see out onto my street, but it's a big window. All of those make the space quite bad for recording, actually. So what I usually do is I section off the room by creating a blanket fort. You guys have seen videos and pictures of the blanket forts I make before, but I'll just show you again now. This is the sort of thing I do, where I use duvets, blankets, and pillows and all sorts, shoving loads of pillows in the corners. And obviously I have this old mattress that I've hung onto and I've just have permanently propped up against one of the walls in the hopes that it will do something. And when I'm recording, I set up my blanket fort around that old mattress because it does do something to help deaden the sound a little more. It's not the best of setups because it's not easy to set it up and pack it back down again. It takes me a good 40 minutes to set up a blanket fort like that. And it's a bit precarious as well. It could collapse on me. And at one point when I was doing some recording, once it did almost collapse on me, it was a bit, yeah. So obviously the space itself is really good because I've got plenty of room in here, and I've made small changes to it that have made it really useful for a lot of what I do, especially the content creation side, because I put up this curtain wire on this wall. There is a piece of curtain wire that's strung from wall to wall up there, and I put that up for my It Doesn't Matter music video that I did. It's actually in the behind the scenes, I think, for the video. It's so much cheaper to do that than buying like a proper, because you can get those photo backdrop stands that then you get bits of paper and fabric that are designed to go on them, and you just hang the backdrops off them, but they're actually quite pricey, whereas this was like, I think it was like 15-20 quid for this curtain wire thing, and it's really handy for photos and stuff, and that is also really handy for making my blanket fort. You just need some bulldog clips is what you need to make it work. So the space has been really good, but one of the main things I'm going to be doing this year is upgrading this space in general. And obviously I already made one of those upgrades a little while back, and I did a little video about it and some pictures about it when I did it, was I made a little vocal booth in one of my old wardrobes. Basically I got a bunch of foam from a mattress topper that I've just stuck to the walls of this wardrobe and then covered that in fabric, and then I just drape either a blanket, or at the moment I've been using another mattress protector that my friend gave me that's basically like a small duvet. I've been using that to drape over the back when the doors are open. Again, that has been a massive improvement, but It's still not fab. We can do better. But the two big things that I'm going to do over the next few months to improve the space overall is, first of all, I'm going to start by making my own acoustic panels to try it out, because I've never made anything like that before. So I want to start with just basic, simple acoustic panels and see how we go. And if that goes well, then I'm going to try my hand at making a movable acoustic panel that I can use to section off bits of the room. You'll see these all over recording studios, these big movable acoustic panels. The other big thing I'm going to do to improve the space is just make it a better space to work in, because at the moment there isn't a good place for me to sit in this room when I'm doing my work. I can't really sit on this chair and do work. I don't really cope well sitting at a desk, which is why the desks that I did have in this room tended to just end up being used as glorified storage space, because I just dump things on them. Obviously, I need a desk in this room. You need a desk in a recording studio space because you need somewhere where the actual gear is going to go as you upgrade the space. You know, at some point I'm going to want a monitor to use with my laptop to make the screen bigger, basically. And that's going to need a desk to go on. So I am going to put a new desk in this room. I'm going to try and get myself something cheap off Facebook Marketplace or something that I can upgrade myself and make into the kind I want, because I want one with the rolling out drawer thing unit, the little desk that rolls out from under the desk that you can then put a MIDI keyboard on, so you can roll the MIDI keyboard in and out when you need it. I'd like that. So my plan is to get just a cheap bog standard desk that I should be able to modify to do what I want. We'll see how that works out too. And to get a chair that's gonna... The thing I think I'm most excited about is that I'm gonna get a chair that actually suits me for this room. Because as I just said, I'm not a sit at a desk kind of person. I'm not a sit upright in a desk chair. I hate desk chairs. I hate them. Because I most comfortably sit with my legs like curled up under me in a variety of ways. And when I work, I like to be able to curl myself up, have my laptop right in front of me, have everything I need within reaching distance, and work like that on my lap. And that's the position I want to be able to assume when I am trying to do things like mixing. And I need to be able to do that in this room, really, so I can take myself away and just sit in the right space and do the work for that space in this room. So I need a chair, basically. And I think that's going to be the trickiest thing to find, because I'm going to want something that I can curl up in like that I can sit in front of the desk and it will sit all right, so I can still like sit on the edge of it and get to the desk when I need to, but then sit back and just relax when I want to. I already got myself one of those lap desk trays. It's been a godsend. I love it. But I'm also going to want something that isn't too heavy, because I've got to get up a flight of stairs. Maybe I'll just enlist the help of a bunch of my friends who go to the gym more often than I do. And then the other big plan is to upgrade my little makeshift vocal booth. I want to take apart the other wardrobe that's in here, the one with the drawers in it, and take the sides of that and attach them to the front of the wardrobe that I've made a vocal booth, gut the wardrobes completely so they're just a nice big space, and then cover them. I'm probably going to start by trying with recycled like foam stuff from bits of furniture again. An upgrade I might want to make is to do that with just proper insulation at some point, but we'll see, because insulation is something I have to buy, whereas foam out of bits of old furniture is something that I can troll around my friends to find out if they've got old mattress toppers and stuff that I can use for it. And it's also just fun to do a project like that. So I might attempt it with the foam first and see how it sounds when I've done it. But the biggest thing it needs to be is just a bit bigger, because currently I can't really stand in it comfortably. And then obviously the other aspect of my setup in here is the gear. And I haven't actually made many upgrades in here for quite a while in terms of gear. So I think it's time that I'm owed some treats. Because my current setup is extremely basic. So currently I do everything on a MacBook Pro, which is the 2019 version, I think. I think it's the 2019 release of the MacBook Pro is what I've got. Which is fine. It had to have its battery replaced the other week, as you'll know. If you follow me, you'll have seen the kerfuffle of me trying to get organised for thinking I might be 2 weeks without my laptop, and then I wasn't. That was pricey though. But other than that, it still works absolutely fine, bless it. It literally just used up its battery. I don't have plans to upgrade that anytime soon, but as I've mentioned, I do have plans to get a monitor. And then my headphones that I currently mix on, I currently only mix on headphones, I've got the Audio Technica, and these are the AT M50X. All the reviews basically put them in the same sort of category as the main Behringer ones that people tend to use in studios. They're in the same price bracket. They're basically the same sort of quality in terms of the sound quality. I can't say, because I've used the Behringer ones in the studio that I go to. These are just as good, I think, from what I can hear. The main reason I picked these over those was because having used them in the studio, I knew I didn't really like the Behringer model that much. Solely because they've got metal here, and it's really tight here. Like this, the headband bit, is really strong against your head. So I find that the Behringer ones are less comfortable for me to wear, especially when I have my glasses on. And I am constantly catching my fingers in them. It's actually a bit of a joke in the studio that I'll finish doing a vocal take and then just yelp because I've caught my fingers in the freaking headphones again. But anyway, because of that, I didn't like them because I don't find them very comfortable. And obviously, comfort is one of the main things, never mind all the tech specs on stuff, one of the most important things with headphones is, are they comfortable to wear for prolonged periods of time? Because I'll be wearing these for a couple of hours in one go, so you want them to be comfortable. And I didn't find the Behringer ones very uncomfortable, so I went with these because all the reviews told me that these are essentially the same. There's not really much of a difference between the two. So it's mostly just about what you prefer. And I preferred these. And I love these. These are so comfortable. But I find that specifically because they're not very strong here. Well, they are strong. They don't break or anything. But they don't you can see it's really easy for me to pull them apart. So they're easy to get on. Oh, it was weird because I could hear the recording. And they're really comfortable to wear for long periods of time. After a while, I'll find that if I have my glasses on, I get a bit of an ache here, but usually that's actually a sign that my glasses aren't sitting right more than anything else. I'm not planning to upgrade those anytime soon because I'm perfectly happy with them. They do the job just fine. And what I actually will be looking to upgrade to instead of changing my headphones is I'll be looking at getting actual speaker monitors. I don't know what brand I'm going with. I don't know what make I'm going with. I haven't made any sort of decisions there because there's no point in me buying those monitors until I have acoustically treated the room in a way that makes it worthwhile. So if anybody has a model that they use that they particularly like that they would recommend, within the next 6 months or so I'll be looking to get them. The other big thing you need that I had to buy to do better quality recordings was an audio interface. I went with one of the Scarlett models because, again, they are what gets recommended to you a lot of the time. I don't know enough to know if they're good or not yet, and I haven't tried any others, so I can't comment. They're seen as good quality and good for a home recording space. And quite often you can pick one up secondhand for not too expensive because a lot of the time people have bought one for their own space and then either they decide to upgrade or they're not doing it anymore, and so there's always somebody selling one. I did not get the basic model that most people usually get because most people get the one with just the 2 mic inputs. I've got one with 4 mic inputs and I got it for a couple of reasons. The biggest one was that at the time that I was looking to buy an audio interface, it's just a coincidence that this was on sale, so it was cheaper than it's normally meant to be. But the other big reason I got it was because I had in the back of my mind the thought that I was buying an audio interface to do more recording stuff, and one of the more recording things that I would likely be doing is recording with other people. And I have actually done that since. So I was right to get the 4 input one for me because I have done recordings with my duo buddy Mark. Just 2 guitars, 2 mics. And if we didn't have the 4 inputs, we wouldn't have been able to do that. And actually there was an occasion when we were doing some recording and we were a bit frustrated because ideally we would have liked 1 more input so that we could have a room mic as well as mics for each of our vocals. But we were probably just getting a bit excessive with that, if we're honest. But I had the thought in my mind that I wanted to be able to, without having to upgrade to something really quickly after buying my first audio interface, I wanted to be able to try recording more complex stuff than that and using more mics to put input and recording both me and other people at the same time. So it was the right move for me. It might not be the right move for somebody else, and I'm very glad because it means I don't have to look at upgrading my audio interface this year. I think I can get away with not upgrading that yet. Which brings us on to mics. I still have my Blue Yeti mic somewhere that I had before I got the audio interface because the Blue Yeti mic is a USB mic, so you can plug it straight in without needing an audio interface, so it's a cheaper option. Since getting the interface, I have only used it once, and the only reason I did that was because this mic, my Rode mic that you can see in shot here, that I use for pretty much everything at the moment, it's my go-to mic. There was a day a few months ago when the pins had the housing that has the pins that the XLR cable goes into. It had come loose. The wiring and all that was fine. The mic itself was fine. I wasn't able to check that myself because I just didn't plug it in because I didn't want to plug it in and then try and pull the plug out and discover that I'd pulled it out even further and actually ruined the wires by doing that. But all the wiring inside was fine. It was literally just like the housing that was holding everything in place had just come loose. But yeah, but that's the only time I've used my Blue Yeti mic in all that time, was because I physically couldn't use this one. And other than that, I haven't touched it. So obviously I've mentioned my Rode mic. I've got the Rode NT1A. Not a shocker, everybody has a Rode NT1A. It's your first go-to mic. This is the beginner mic, and this is the mic that you will continue using even once you're not a beginner anymore. You'll probably still get this mic out. Plenty of sound engineers that I've spoken to, they still have one of these in their studio, and they have used them recently. And then the other mic I have in my collection is my dynamic microphone that I use for gigging mainly. I have a JTS NX8 dynamic microphone. I am very happy with that microphone. I'm specifically very happy with how good it is at not needing me to do as much of this when I'm singing, because I have quite a big dynamic range when I sing live, and I find that the JTS mic that I have copes really well with that. I got it because it was the one that the guy in the shop recommended to me when I was getting my PA, and the guy in the shop was lovely and helpful and explained things really well, and actually took the time to go through and not try and upsell me to a more expensive PA system than I needed. So I trusted the guy in the shop when he told me that this mic that was only going to cost me 80 quid was a good quality mic that would do the job just fine. And he was right. I am very happy with my little JTS mic, and I will continue using that for the foreseeable. I see no reason to stop using it. But I probably will get myself another dynamic mic, possibly by the end of the year, for two reasons. One, I'd like to try a different model, and specifically, I'd like to try a specific model of mic. Both the mics that I actually want to get at some point are both SE electronic mics, because that is what gets used in the studio that I have done all my work in. And I've heard them in person because of that. Because I've had them put on my stuff in the studio, I have heard how these mics actually sound in person. Makes sense to get what I know I've heard and I know I like the sound of. But one of the things I might want to get is I might want to get an SE V7 at some point, which is their main dynamic microphone that is mainly specifically for live performance. But you know, you can use dynamic microphones in all sorts of settings. I use my dynamic microphone all the time when I'm trying to do just a guitar vocal thing instead of using my condenser. I know a lot of people do a guitar vocal with a condenser, but I find that really tricky to do with me, and I don't think it works quite as well, especially if I want to do it with a nice backdrop. So I use it quite a bit for that, but there are all sorts of reasons to use a dynamic microphone in a studio setting as well, so they're always handy to have around. And I would like to hear what a different one sounds like, so I would like to actually compare them and see, because I might like the V7 a little bit better, and I will feel bad, and I will apologise to my JTS mic for abandoning it. But also, I want another one because it's good to have a backup. And it's good to have two, because you never know, you might want to do a duet with somebody who doesn't have a mic. You know, having two dynamic microphones means that I have options again. So and they're not that expensive. So that is a big piece of kit I can see myself buying. The other microphone that I have my eye on that I will probably buy at some point is the SE4400. This is the one that I have had used on stuff in the studio. And I love how the acoustic guitar sounds in the studio. I love the sound of it through those mics. And I know that I won't be able to replicate that perfectly at home because obviously it's not the same space as the studio is. And obviously I don't have the other gear in the studio like the preamps and stuff like that. But I can get the microphone, and that's one step to replicating that sound a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so that is what my space and my setup currently looks like, and the plans I have in terms of how I'm going to change this space to upgrade it. Things I'm going to build and modify and stuff. So yeah, my basic little setup that I currently have is probably going to change drastically over the next few months. How much just depends on how many gigs I get and if I'm able to make money in other ways that mean that I can afford to buy things. I also would really love to buy a new camera because I've had my eye on a particular camera that I can get secondhand for a lot cheaper than I could firsthand. Firsthand? That's not how that works. Brand new. But I can't justify that, can I really? Yeah, if you want to follow the upgrades as they happen and the updates, I will be actually posting on my social media, obviously. Whenever I make a little upgrade, I'll do a little post. If for no other reason, then it's fun to watch people geek out in the comments when you post gear pictures. People love gear pictures. But I will keep you guys all updated on how things go. So follow me on all my social media if you want to see those updates, and obviously subscribe to this channel because I will likely do videos updating as well. I usually do musical content on here, so if you would like to actually see some of my music stuff, then there'll probably be a recommended video at the end of this video, or a bunch of recommended videos at the side maybe, if you want to go check out some of the rest of my channel and see what I'm like as a musician. And if you enjoy what I do here, then do hit that follow but subscribe. Do hit that subscribe button. We're on YouTube. Oh my god. That is all for this video. I will see you guys next week with another video of some sort. This is me later on doing a different video and realizing that I kind of lied at the end of this video when I said that there would be another video next week. There will not be another video next week because my single comes out next week. My next single, Play Pretend, comes out at midnight on the Friday, which is basically the Thursday night. So on the Thursday, instead of doing a video next week, I'm going to do a live stream to celebrate the release of that single at last, because we've been waiting forever for this single. So yeah, I told a lie. No video next week, live stream instead. But in the meantime, I shall say toodles. Bye!